So people want to believe that the world is nice and simple, and unfortunately it's nothing like that. Hi everyone, my name's Rich Pearson. I'm a professional counsellor and psychotherapist based in Falmouth in Cornwall, and today we're going to be talking about how the world is not quite as simple as we'd all like it to be. Something that human beings kind of automatically do is to simplify things. We do this as a defense mechanism. We try and make things simpler so that they are easier to understand, which makes them safer and makes us less afraid of them. It seems to be a kind of default state of being a human being is to try and simplify something so that we can develop understanding of it. We created things like religion so that we could understand the great big universe and the world around us. We nowadays have people that really distrust science because it doesn't have all the answers, and we think that's not fair. And a lot of that is that phrase I just used there, not fair, is kind of what it comes down to. Human beings often, and I include myself as a prime example in this, human beings often have this idea that we are the masters of our own universe. Everything should just work. Everything should be nice and simple. And we've been brought up on an unfortunate amount of ideologies and fairy tales and other such things that suggest that the world should be nice and simple and linear with no real disruptions, and that's how we should go on. The thing is, disruptions are how we develop and grow and become bigger and better people. Let me go back a little bit. There is this general idea that is perpetuated throughout, I'm going to say, society, education, everything really, that there is a set way of doing things. For me, when I was a child, the set way of doing things was that you would go to school, you would go to probably university or get an apprenticeship or something, you'd get a job, you'd get married, you'd have a few kids, you'd retire and you'd die. And that was the nice and simple linear way of doing things. And for a long time that was the truth for a lot of people. However, the world has changed quite a lot, and in fact the more I look back, it's nowhere near as simple as that, I don't think, in terms of a lot of things. And we want to simplify all other kinds of things as well. We want to simplify what is the universe, what is God. We want to simplify our relationships with people by we look at things like, as I say, fairy tales and old stories where everyone lives happily ever after. We want to simplify disease. We want to simplify the pandemics that we've endured. We want to simplify climate change into one answer or another. It is real or it isn't real or anything like that. Politicians are always trying to simplify things down to 10-word answers or 3-word sound bites or anything that makes things simple. We want to try and make things as simple as possible because then they're easier to ingest. The problem with this is that we've seen that relatively simple slogans and catchphrases like "Take Back Control" or "Make America Great Again" haven't led us to some of the best places that we would have hoped we would have done. So things being simple may seem like they're easier and better, but it's not always the way that we need it to be. Now, what does this have to do with counselling? As a counsellor, one of the things that I most commonly find, and as a client who goes to counselling, one of the things I most commonly bring is this frustration and this desire that things should be simple, things should be linear, things should be easy. And what I have found over years of being a client and a significant amount of time now of being a counsellor is that it's one of the best things to explore with someone is, why do you think this should be this way? And one of the things that we have to come to realise, in fact, is if we get right down to it, right down to the physical and hyper-physical aspects of the universe, of our nature, of the world and stuff, the world is not here to serve us. The world is not here to make life easy for us. We want things to be nice, simple, compact ideas that we can get our heads around really easily. And there is actually a part of the therapeutic process that we talk about where people compress ideas into their own structures and beliefs. And I'll talk about this more in a later on video, whereby people try and make something simple so that they can understand it, so crucially they don't have to worry about it. If something is complicated to a person, then it is something that generally we are suspicious of, afraid of, scared of, and it's where things like racism and xenophobia and other such things come from, because if someone is standing next to us on a tube train or something and they're talking in a language that we don't understand, there's a part of us, in all of us, that becomes a little bit, one would hope curious, but sometimes it turns into suspicious and other times judgmental, because we don't know what they're saying, and we often don't like that. So it's really, really hard to understand why it is that the world isn't as simple as we wish it would be. But what can we do about it? Well, one of the first things that we can do is embrace it. We can embrace that the world is changeable, that it changes all the time, that things are not as simple as we want them to be. We want to put things into nice compact boxes, but things often don't come in nice cubic shapes that can fit into these boxes, and we need to accept that. We need to accept, for example, right now, I am currently the father of a 3-month-old baby, and I am having to accept that a lot of things with her which were simple 2 months ago are not simple now. And I'm really doing this as well, partly for my own therapeutic benefit, as I am for you, the watcher, as well. But things like, I don't know, anything, education, politics, religion, technology, space, the internet, relationships, town council meetings, how we divide fiscal budgets into different years of spending, anything like this. It's all immensely complicated, and people will often use that complication in order to get you off their backs. People like bankers, people like politicians have often said that things are very complicated so that you will not question them. You'll be afraid and you won't want to go and figure it out because it's too much, it's too overwhelming. And believe me, as an autistic therapist, I very much know what it's like to be overwhelmed. So in summary, we really want the world to be simple, but it isn't. We crave simplicity. We crave these ideas. Capitalism is good, communism is bad, boys don't cry, girls should smile more. All these things, these ideas, these simple things which we put into our heads, which don't actually always work out in our best favour, and in fact end up creating more tension and more difficulty in our relationships, in our lives, in our societies. The world is not a simple place. I wish it was so badly, but it isn't. And the first step towards us being able to fix any of the problems that we have is to move towards a place of compassion, is to be able to be more patient, to try our hardest to not be so overwhelmed by the things that we find so overwhelming, because they are not simple. I hope this video has helped in some way and hopefully not been too confusing. I'm going to do more on the topics of simplicity and also the ways that we can engage in complicated discussions about things at a later on date. So if you'd like to see more videos like that, please subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Thanks very much.